They told us our worth had to be earned the hard way in hushed tones and with a smile that begged for permission. They said black quarterbacks had to wait their turn, pay invisible dues, nod politely, and hope that maybe, just maybe, someone in power would notice. They said the right way to lead was to blend in, to be grateful for crumbs, to play the game by their rules in a league built on their image, their comfort, their control. They told us to bow our heads, to stay silent, and to never make the room uncomfortable. But Shadur Sanders shattered that illusion without even taking a single NFL snap before he threw a pass. Before the first preseason whistle blew, Shadur Sanders became a walking revolution. A fifth-round pick who generated $250 million in jersey revenue, read that again, $250 million, and $15 million of that directly into his pocket before his cleats even touched an NFL field. That's more than several starting quarterbacks in this league are making in 2025. And it didn't come because the league wanted it. It came because the people demanded it. The very system that tried to humble him is now feeding off the electricity he created, and it can't keep up. This isn't hype. This is a cultural earthquake. They said he was unproven, a coach's son coasting on legacy. They pushed him down to day 3 of the draft, pretending it was about mechanics and developmental upside. But it wasn't. It was about control. It was about punishing a young black man who refused to dim his light. It was about sending a message to Dillon Sanders, the unapologetic father who has turned college football on its head, that the NFL still owns the narrative. But the NFL forgot one thing: they don't control the people anymore. And the people crowned Shatter Sanders long before the league ever called his name. They tried to strip him of his value, and he answered with $250 million. That's not just economics. That's defiance. That's generational pride turned into commerce, confidence turned into capital. Fans didn't just buy a jersey, they bought into a movement. They didn't need ESPN features, draft night hugs, or highlight montages to validate him. They saw him, they felt him, and they rode with what he represented: self-assurance, culture, and the unshakable audacity to exist on his own terms. This is why the establishment is rattled. Because you can't coach charisma, you can't manufacture authenticity, you can't fake cultural resonance. The Browns didn't create this wave, they're just riding it. They released his jersey as a marketing afterthought, a way to squeeze a few rookie dollars out of a late-turn pick. They didn't expect the site to crash. They didn't expect the jersey to become #1 in the league overnight. They definitely didn't expect a fifth-rounder to outsell first-round quarterbacks from the past 3 years combined. But he did, because Shadur Sanders doesn't need the NFL to make him a star. He was a star the moment he walked in the room. Let's stop sugarcoating what draft day really was. It wasn't just a slide. It was theft in plain sight. A deliberate devaluation. Shedeur had the numbers, the poise, the leadership, and the marketability. But the league wanted to humble him to remind the son of Dillon Sanders that swagger and independence have a price. They wanted him to sit quietly in the green room, smiling through disappointment, showing the right kind of humility. But even in that moment, the people outside the walls were already rewriting the script. They weren't waiting for permission. They were waiting for a link. And the second that link went live, the world moved. This isn't team loyalty. This is personal allegiance. This is Brooklyn to Birmingham, Oakland to Orlando, high school locker rooms and barbershops across America. Kids mimic his pregame strut on TikTok. Young quarterbacks adjust their sleeves and angle their brows, trying to capture that Sanders swagger. And black men across the country see him as more than a player. They see him as a reflection of themselves in a world that often asks them to shrink. That's why the league is nervous. Because for decades, the NFL controlled the story. They told us who to cheer for and when. They muted voices that didn't fit. They punished black quarterbacks for smiling too wide, speaking too freely, or wearing too much light on their shoulders. Cam Newton lived it. Lamar Jackson lived it. Colin Kaepernick paid the ultimate price for it. And now Shadur Sanders is rewriting the script without asking for their approval. He walked into his first media appearance as a Cleveland Brown. The disrespect was immediate. Mary Kay Cabot, a veteran reporter, didn't ask about his playbook progress, his reads, or his development. She asked about his father's health, personal, irrelevant. An calculated question designed to pull him out of his lane and create a headline that had nothing to do with football. And what did Shedeur do? He leaned back, his diamond watch catching the light, and with icy composure said, "I'm here to talk football. No anger, no outburst, no ammunition for the haters. Just poise, just presence, just prime DNA." The media didn't know what to do with that. They expected immaturity. They expected him to stumble. They expected the arrogant black quarterback stereotype they've been using for decades. Instead, he gave them professionalism, patience, and control of his own story. And the internet noticed? The clips went viral, not because he ranted, but because he refused to bend. The same media that called Joe Burrow swaggy and Baker Mayfield fiery for flexing confidence has spent months calling Shedeur cocky, distracting, and too branded. Same demeanor, different skin. Same leadership, different labels. And the fans are done pretending not to see it. Because let's be real, if Shatter Sanders were white, this entire story would look different. A fifth-rounder outselling the league in jersey revenue before his first snap, ESPN would plaster his face across every screen. NFL Films would produce a feel-good documentary about the underdog phenom from Colorado. He'd be the story of the year, a marketing darling, a symbol of the league's future. Instead, they're scrambling to explain him away as hype. They whisper about entitlement and brand over ball because the reality makes them uncomfortable. You get too powerful without their permission. But here's the part they can't stop. $250 million doesn't lie. $15 million in personal commission doesn't lie. The chants in practice don't lie. The TikToks, the barbershops, the kids emulating his strut, they don't lie. This is real. This is generational. This is a movement they didn't authorize, can't control, and will eventually have to follow. The NFL's old model said the logo comes first. The player is replaceable, and charisma only matters if it fits the brand. Shadur Sanders just proved the opposite. He is the brand. He is the movement. And the league is either going to adapt or get left behind. Because this isn't just about Cleveland. Half the people wearing number 12 couldn't find Berea on a map. And they don't need to. This isn't about team loyalty. It's about personal loyalty. It's about a generation of fans who are done waiting for the system to tell them who to love. It's about a young black quarterback who refused to dim his light to make the room more comfortable and ended up lighting the room on fire. So now the question isn't whether Shadur Sanders will play. It's how long the NFL can keep pretending they don't see him. How long can they bench a $250 million movement? How long can they push the old narrative while the new one explodes in their face? The player-first era is here. The league just hasn't admitted it yet. Shadur Sanders didn't ask for permission to lead it. He just did. If you've made it this far, drop a comment saying "I ride with 12 inches" and let the world know you see through the noise. Hit like, subscribe, and join this movement because we're not just watching a rookie season, we're watching history.